Hello everyone, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2. Now, I do apologize, it has been about a week, so I'm a little rusty. Need to check our contract, see what we are supposed to be doing. That's good, that's good. Transfer needs to happen. High resolution resource scan. Okay. We've got plenty of money, we can probably make a resource scanner. Let's give it a moment. Should catch up to us in a go. Open our scan set. Come up here. And then start taking off all the other scanners. Come down. And we've got the battery power. Just need to make sure our antennas are behaving. Now, for this, these should be enough. But just in case, I'm gonna do those right there. We said we need a high resource scanner. Shouldn't be too bad. It's just gonna need its own dedicated orbit, that's all. Resource high res. So we need to just barely skim outside the atmosphere. There we go. That's quite literally everything this satellite system needs. Oh, we already have the antenna, so we can actually get rid of those. Good thing I added that. Now the other thing, this has control. Save this. We're going to launch, and thankfully, we don't have to go as high as the other satellite, so we are going to have quite a bit of fuel spare. We just have to be a little careful with it, because we are going to be skimming very close to the atmosphere. If this was real life, you'd probably hit pockets of atmosphere going through, which would cause it to destabilize and fall out of orbit. Okay, I'm gonna quick save, throttle to the max, and begin. Now we are going to be quite a bit faster because we've ripped a lot of weight off this. As you can see. Wait for it, and boom. Okay. Air clear. Careful, because this does want to flip end over end because we are moving way faster than this is really supposed to be going. As you can see, we are already almost at a space trajectory, and we've just guaranteed it. I tilt a little bit more. And see if it'll let us. We're going to push it up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to intentionally drop back down. We have plenty of fuel to pull off the maneuver, so it's not a particularly dangerous thing. Realistically, the most dangerous part is waiting too long to engage the systems and then falling back to the planet. I'm hoping the satellite relay system just takes care of itself. Otherwise, I'm going to have a very rough time. It should be set up properly, but we saw how that worked last time. Now, yes, this is a exceedingly inefficient way to do this, but does work very well, actually. We can also use this to force down our Apple apps, at least for the moment. We got more than enough fuel. In fact, we've got so much fuel, I'm going to overcharge these engines. At least overcharge in comparison to what we normally do with them. There we go. We are beyond Apple apps. We're also going to want to intentionally shift so that we get a more 90-degree. Oh, we overshot it. Yeah. Okay, we have overshot quite substantially. However, we have plenty of fuel to fix it. And that's the good part about this rocket setup, is we have more fuel than we really know what to do with, and enough power to force just about this whole thing into and out of orbit the way we want. This way. Listen carefully. So, hey, prograde and move. There we go. We can actually clean this up later. By later, I mean when we are closer to our actual Apple apps, Perry apps. Okay, T minus 2 minutes and 40 seconds to Apple apps. We're a little bit closer. Oops. Wait for our 10-second mark. Okay. Clean. Now, I'm gonna wait until we are close to Perry apps and do that as well. Now we've lost connection. That is obviously a massive concern. But regain connection. And we have regained it through satellites, which is fantastic. In fact, we regained it through ScanSat bouncing it. So that is actually exponentially better news than I thought I was going to get. Wait for 10 seconds and cut. And we've lost connection yet again because of the alignment. That's problematic, so what we're going to do is say, hey, warp here. We're going to see if we can get it on the other side. These are going to have to separate at a point. Just kind of how that works. The problem is whether it's going to be at a point where we will have control. Believe it or not, this irks me to the umpteenth bazillion degrees. Because ground station, we're going to open that. Open the base manager. KSC. Now I actually have signal, which is great, but does mean just as likely, yep, to lose it as we go around. So, a friend, warp here. At this point, I might end up getting signal directly from the KSC. Yeah. There we go. 30 seconds. Quite the event, but there we go. is not perfect, not by any measure of perfection. But if we set this as target, we managed to hit 90 on our own. So, what we need to do, all this radical out, I think. I believe it's in relation to the planet. So it's not perfect, not by any stretch of the imagination, but I can tell it. Resource scanner. Oh, don't need to Cool. Now running. So if I come here, a lot of stuff, but high res scans. Working on. Check this based off of currently doing. Overlay, and there we go. Or okay, it's not perfect, but it is getting us our scans that we need. Also, pulling in a bunch of power. Also, these are Mark III, so yeah, I don't think these are gonna... I don't think they're gonna be running out anytime soon. Ooh. And that will just passively generate us income as it goes. Now, as much as I really do want to make a moon landing satellite just to get some data back from the moon, we are getting put in a very bad position with our current satellites. They're not working the way we need them to. And, you know, for communication satellites, that's not good. Now, we have more funding than we know what to do with right this second. But we don't have a lot of research. So, we're going to look into building some... as much as I want to say compact satellites, I don't know if they're going to be as compact as some people might want. But it will be the satellite that we are working with. So we're going to go here, Heavy Lift Mark II. We're going to load it. Going to remember that, hey, this and this. And when we fix it, we need to color code it orange. Okay, can't really fix that, but and then save this so that it works better. And this is that cool. Mark 1. The reason we are naming this in this particular method is we want to get quite a bit out of this. But in order for us to do it, it's going to take a little finagling. And the only reason I say that is why that's crazy, but yeah, we'll save this as that. The only reason we are really looking into this as how we want to do it is we want something that we can duplicate and in essence send anywhere. No matter what it is, these guys are not like our interplanetary ones. These are ones that, like, if I send it to Duna and they orbit Duna, they can communicate with the network around Duna, and then they can interact with whatever I send there to create a bridge between Kerbal and Duna. And then they will also be able to communicate with whatever's on the surface of Duna from anywhere. That, at least, is the hope. Now, what I would love to do is use... Where are they? Don't know if I have them unlocked. There are a couple strut pieces. Yeah, I don't think they're unlocked. That have some amazing properties. Yeah, I don't really know how else to put it. Okay, if we don't have those strut pieces, I guess our next best is going to be a careful handling of fuel tanks, actually, because something like that, not quite what I need. I don't need something that big. How much fuel? Edit tank. Edit tank. Is 22 liters. That is a lot of argon gas. Question is argon what I'm using for... No, it's xenon. Oh. Okay. Wrong thing. Gas. Gas. Xenon. Boop. Boop, boop. Good. Good. Xenon. Okay, that is quite factually insane. I need to... I need to build this and see how much I can get away with. That is my new route. I treat that like it's, you know, solid gold. Hey, you up at the top. That is 344 meters. I need a reference. So, small tank. Okay. Okay. It is much better. These are also coming in at a weight of 0.05 times 3 is 0.15. Whereas this is 0.02. Yeah. Yep. Best tank. This tank is best tank. I want to color code this. I might want to do purple. And the reason I want to do it in purple is so I know what it's being used for. And then the other thing I want to do, come here. So battery of nearly the equivalent size is 2,800 charge. This, if I edit the tank, clear it out, say, hey, battery max, like charge, how much can I get out of it? Only 600, so that is exponentially better. So, ding, 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 ding. Nope. Looks like we have a small thing we have to deal with away. So give me a moment. I shall return. Sorry about that. We are back. Trying to debate what we want to do with it. The reserve power is always nice, but in theory, we shouldn't need it on something like this. You want our special solar panels we upgraded? Yes. Reason for that is, one, they're upgraded. Two, with the way they're upgraded, we know they're gonna get enough charge to keep these running, even in some really rough environments. Now, this guy right here does have a nice antenna, like range capability, but we are not going soft on it. We're going to be putting the the relay capabilities on this system. Does mean we have to do this. At weird angles, and the reason for that is if we don't, it won't fit, or it won't fit in a appropriate way. Because there are plenty of ways I could do this, but it wouldn't quite mean it, if that makes sense. Like, it wouldn't make sense to build this in that manner. No target, your target. Target is always active vessel. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. I like that. That actually makes a lot of sense for this design. Relay info, yeah, no. That stuff is going to have so much going on. Also be an active vessel target. Now, as you can see, this right here is a relatively expensive piece of equipment. Because of it, we need to find a good solution for it, because right now, if we want to deploy a bunch of those, we don't really have a appropriate setup for it. Let me also make sure my fairing capabilities are set up. Payload. Structural. Now, here's the funny thing. Actually, we can get rid of that. Because we aren't separating what I'm about to build from it. We are actually, hopefully, going to be using it. Local, will you? Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. Boom. There we go. Still absolutely insane, but it does work. This, the thing we have forgotten to do is absolutely important, is to make it so that we can actually separate these from the whole thing. Otherwise, it's just a very fancy way of locking everything down. Bring it back. There we go. And go. Bring this up. We'll just do that, because if I start playing with these, I could break everything. Okay. So, all these motors are gonna get to engage. However, must engage after separate them properly. So, we'll launch out the middle one first. Mostly because it's going to be the easiest to work with. Then we'll launch this one, then we want to make sure we launch the one exactly on the other side. Come on. There we go. There we go. Again, save it. And we are gonna launch. Now, it is very heavy, which is going to be a massive problem. As well as the fact that we have a gigantic marshmallow on its head. So that's another one of those downsides. What I could do, if I wanted to, is extend the main tanks and add more fuel. But in order to do that, I'm probably going to have to bump their thrust. Not really that good. The problem with bumping the thrust means it reduces our efficiency, which means any of the extra fuel doesn't actually take us any further. We start getting negative returns on our fuel. And as any good merchant will tell you, a negative return is not great. Well, we still have a very large thruster weight, so we are fine. If this doesn't work, we might have to come here, extend the tanks up, like we do with the Mark 1. Especially because of how quickly we burn through the fuel. It is very easy for us to burn out early and then just be wasting, because right now we are wasting so much fuel fighting drag. If we slow down, I could probably get quite a bit more out of this. Right now we are using so much fuel just to fight aerodynamics. We are pushing the air out of the way that hard and that fast. Getting to the burning up amount of speed for our height. We still haven't even cleared our booster tanks, so once we do, we will cut the engines entirely. Boom. Boom. Sorry. Off. You're at 90,000 kilometers. It is not our goal. Our goal is actually to make these guys look silly. We are going to put them probably at an altitude of 5. So 5 million meters, as it were. It's going to be, I believe, a little past some of our well, some of the areas you want to go for a synchronous orbit. But we will be gunning it. Yep. Soon as we get into space. Mostly because we don't want to even think about re-entry, so here, I'm gonna bring these up maximum thrust and go. Now, we will be slowing down as soon as we get to a orbit. Since that is just enough, add it actually over here. And the reason we are going to go from here is we want to push up that apoapse really hard while giving us the minimal amount of fuel we need to burn for everything else. That's nice. We've given ourselves place prograde. Periapse is 2 minutes out. We want to drop down to 15 seconds. Go. System find its mark and begin to burn. Now we want to be careful. There we go. There. Excuse me, I said warp there. I want you to do it facing retrograde. Now the problem is I don't think... Yeah. I don't think we're going to be able to do it with the antennas we have aboard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get away with it. Mm-hmm. See where we do gain connection. Fed, 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 fed. Perfectly fine. At this point, we no longer connect to the actual base center. That's not great. When do we lose it? For it? Okay. 250. So, well, because we didn't put big enough satellites to be out this far, is problematic in its own right. But here, have a connection and go and maneuver. Cool. Aim for our marker. Kind of push it. Okay. Get a maneuver. That. That is the maneuver I want to. Basically radial out. And the reason we did that is so that we can come here, add maneuver, have 1800. Yes. 5 is where we're going to want to go with it. In 5 minutes. For it. Cool. Cool. Awesome. Start to burn soon. Go. Close enough. Now we're going to do a single loop. Kerbin. Basically all these are aimed at Kerbin. Now the other issue is I don't have any of the high gains open, I just realized, which means all the stuff I've been trying to test, mostly meaningless. Now everything aim at Kerbin. Hello! How are you doing today? Hope you are having a good day today. Everything is behaving itself. Go up for our high gain. See if we run into any issues, but I believe we should be mostly fine because we actually have the better antennas now. Yeah. We didn't have them activated before, and that was actually the thing that was giving us the hard time. Start cycling up the engines because we want to start pushing our periaps up here. And what we're going to do is we are going to launch a satellite, drop it into a lower orbit. We want to intentionally make this flip to the apoaps. But we want to drop it into the lower orbit. Let it fall back, and by doing so, yeah, basically get away with a lot. This right now is going to be a div vessel, and I'm going to tell it to wait, because we are launching this center unit. Once it clears everything, we will open up the rest. Okay. Okay. You, safety's sake, well, yeah. And then extend and extend on these solar panels, because we will be cycling through so much power as soon as the engines kick on. We have an unbelievably large amount of fuel. I think what I want to do, I think I'm going to drop this to 1,250,000. I believe that'll give us the separation we want. If not, oh well. There. For it, wait for it. Close enough. Now, warp here. Look at this. It should move us a little bit ahead. I don't think it's going to be a perfect 1/5, but if it's even remotely close, it should be fine. Run up. Let it in. We want to be very careful. We're not technically good with this. That should be close enough. And then you rename you relay 0. Except for now, you guys aren't going to target anything. But I'm hoping have you target the clusters. But I don't think it's going to work. But again, for now, we're just making do as it is. Prograde. The next set is which ones? Those, and they do have an antenna out. Good. That. Are we to the maneuver node? We are at what? Periaps? Yeah. Technically, Close enough. That, and I think on my other one I didn't activate. What caused problem? Go. Fire. Periaps. Now periaps down to 250. Now, even if it isn't perfect, a general coverage is fine. As long as we can guarantee network control off the planet, we will be in a great way. Here, correct. Oh, here is the first thing. That puts us right there. Say, hey, do it again. Should put us about the same distance away. I think what we're going to end up with is a semicircle of satellites, which isn't great, but because we have radar sites on both sides of the planet, it is something we can manage. A little bit more. I'm going to wait for the 30-second mark just for simplicity's sake. Then we are going to intentionally push it up exactly into this. There we go. Good. Now you are going to be micro relay. Are you able? At 10. Great. Yeah. For the most part, we're just doing a little TLC. I will have to jump to the other communications relays and get them cleaned up, but that can wait until it's done. I believe it's, yeah, we're several minutes. Up there. Friend, don't have your power. Ride. Send panel. I believe if we go into the end. Ooh. And that is why we keep reserves. Oh man. That was bad. Okay. Just for safety's sake, and because we are in a relatively safe area while we're doing this. All activated. Not going to activate the internal one on the other till launch for safety's sake. But now this has far more power than it'll ever need. Still 2 minutes from Periaps. Run all these. Fanciful. We overshot because we weren't paying attention. Is yet again our fault, but are going to let it run. These have so much fuel. I could probably send a couple of these on some pretty deep missions if I really wanted to. And I might build something to take advantage of this at some point. But for now, we want to do here and drop us to 0.1. Here. 0.2. Oh, much better. Okay, make sure you're ready. Go prograde. So you are relay 2, or are you? Fine for now. Okay. That is actually what we want to make sure we're careful about, because as you see, we forgot to one. We will have to do it. Oh, cool. An eclipse. I was not expecting that visual representation. And honestly, this is fine. If we go too crazy with it, it'll be a mostly waste. What we'll do is switch to relay 0 so we can activate the other components to it to ensure it is properly set up. Hi, micro, activate and activate. Here. Here. So 0 needs to do 1 and 2. 1, 2. 3. 2. This should be 1. Because we will be adding 0 right there. But we want to make sure we take this big guy. You're going to look at the active one. 1 and 3. Urban and urban. And the reason we're doing this in this method is so we have a little bit of an understanding but also a little bit better interchange on it. Urban and then active. That theory 2 and what was it 1? 2 and 1. 3. That to dial this one in. Face retrograde and warp till we're right on top of the periapse. Launch. Switch to take the maneuver 3 minutes out, which is perfectly fine. Delves down to 30, and your adjustment. Well, we knew our adjustment was gonna change that anyway, and we haven't hit it correctly quite a few times, so not the end of the world. We just need to make sure we're relatively precise with our periapse release. Hmm. Seven, 6, 5. There we go. There. That's not good. That puts me positions out. I literally missed a position because of it. So, see if I can get back where I need to be with it, because yep, it's off. Of course it is, because I wasn't paying attention and Warp decided it didn't like me. 3 minutes. Go. Perfect. And I definitely should have waited. I've already messed it up more than I fixed it, but gotta just let it go at this point, because I do not have Mekteb to correct the issue. Iris or scan, that's fine. Yep. 99.99. Close. What I'm gonna do is this, I'm gonna launch and just leave alone. Obviously, me touching satellites and telling them to do stuff has not been working in my favor. The high gain. Need to look at the active. This is gonna do 2 and 3, so 2 and 3. You are going to be named Relay 4. Two and 4 are talking to the comm cluster, and we are just gonna separate it, set it up, and just leave it alone. Separate it, and then you automatically switch to retrograde for reasons of I have no idea. Hey buddy, you can stay facing that way. We're going to be named Relay 0. Your micros are going to be 1 and 2. Your big one is going to be active. Cool. Then we're going to come over to 1. 1 is going to have 2 and 0. Good. Make them behave. Don't know how well they're going to behave, but will, at least technically, behave. Right here. I want you to retrograde, but we're also going to go until we're in the sun, because I do not want to be making these burns when I can't see things. Maneuver. We have plenty of thrust capabilities. No longer need to look at our burn down. Burn until periaps is below the horizon. The reason we're doing that way is because we will not be on the satellite when it drops, so it should do the auto calculations. Now, when time warp drops down, we Get stage recovery. Great, but we did get quite a bit. Now we can come here and return to our space center. Now, we do have a few minutes left. Main question becomes, what we still have to scan on Kerbin. I believe we have one more contract with a ScanSat system, and it should be and how much research can we do? We might be looking at making our KISS Mark III. Yeah, we only have 13, so we might need to KISS just to, oh. Wrong building, we want to go to contracts. But yeah, we might be looking at designing and prepping the next stage of the KISS rocket system. So mission control and SAT, and since 10 contracts are offered, that means they are asking for the moon and Mimbus and all that. High-res altimetry. I believe that is the last one. Oh no. Okay, do this. And it is high-res altimetry. It is relatively easy to do. Quite literally just our scanning satellite set up with the right equipment put into the orbit at the right altitude. Da, 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 da. So inefficient, but it is what it is. Science. And we want high altimetry. High res altimetry. Do we have one that is not so far off? Okay, so we have both of these. Well, you know what? I'm actually fine with that. Because we've already proven, yeah, that we have what it takes to do something like this. Target. Kerbin. Target. Kerbin. I don't know if that's going to force it. You are starting deployed. You are starting deployed because even with your power consumption, not going to be terrible. You like that you can just pick the color you want it. But again, that out. It's a launch. Let me confirm again. 700 kilometers. That is actually going to be relatively easy for this type of rocket. Got 20 minutes to get this in the orbit we want. There we go. I say we just really need this to load. Saving, engine up. And we're just going straight into the launch because time is not currently our friend. I'm actually gonna slow us down. There we go, we want to stay under 250. And yep, engines have cleared away. You're going slow enough speed to actually set off the parachute. Wait for it, wait for it. And that lines up quite a bit better right there. Separate those off. A little bit because bleeding at a nasty rate. You're not heading in a northern direction. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Get our thrust vectoring all the way up, especially because we are in high atmosphere. Now that we are in orbital, we have overshot the target. It's actually problematic, so get around. Low thrust. That just so that we have the panels. Otherwise, we're gonna have a bad day. Warp up here. Cross our fingers that we maintain a network connection. We did lose connection, but we've re-established it off of some of the other things. Don't know if it is going to stay connected. Closer because we don't want to shoot again like we were doing, because seconds make the difference. Okay. Spin around, start pushing it back. We've accidentally set it too far. Good enough. Okay. This needs to Face away. Burn any and all remaining fuel. Attempt. Drop back. This is actually perfectly fine. Are gonna start this scanner. Fine. We're gonna drop back to this. Dropped too far. Hey. Now retro. Go. Push it down out of orbit. And everything is fine. Stop. Switch to that. You're gonna rename it. And then we're gonna see how well it is scanning. Okay. Wrong component. Nice, because it means we don't have to rename it. I do want to be on it when I'm checking the scanning capabilities of the unit. Type. And then we want the global map. Protection. Yeah, that is filling out quite quickly, actually. Question is, does it need sunlight? Is that why you're only getting certain? I feel like that is quite literally the reason. Or, what I'm seeing, I don't think we're at perfect 90. Target. Yep. Oh, there are small sections where we lose communication. That would explain it. At 7-second burn. Actually, not that bad. 3, 2, 1. Prepare for sub-minute timing. Okay. 4, 3, 2, 1, burn. Here we go. And now when I check that, these are all going to be off by a little bit. Means I have a little bit more visual to work with. I think the issue I'm running into is it needs both daylight and the connection, and the connection is not being very stable. There we go. And that should be enough to increase the amount of scan that gets done. Ta-da! Contract complete. Name's not really that useful, but hey, done it, and we've done it in our necessary time frame, as well as with rockets that technically have the ability to be moved and put where they could be a lot more valuable. Now, I do want to probably convert my reputation into research, because the little research we have is not really great. That of course. 800,000. Sure. That. I want something I can do right now. That's funny. So, like, if we are just... we will do it ourselves. I like the idea of trading away our reputation for the extra science. Alright, everyone. That is it for today's episode. I hope to see you all in the next one. Take it easy.